Well, hey, life groups, summer is here, and I know that you are all winding down and heading off for your socials very shortly, and life group will be coming to a close over the summer. But what a great word to end the life group season on. We talked this week about the story of Jonah, still in the subject of steer your own ship, but the story of Jonah, oh my goodness, he's a man who loved God with all of his heart, yet he didn't like what God was asking him to do, so he chose to run in the opposite direction. And it sounds so bizarre when we read through his story, and yet it's the narrative of our lives on a daily basis. We love God. We love it when God is doing things for us and when he's blessing our lives. But how do we respond when God is asking something from us? When he's asking us to forgive, when he's asking us to love, when he's asking us to let go of something we want to keep hold of or pick something up we don't want to pick up. How do we respond then? We look at Jonah and we say, Jonah, you were so foolish to do your own thing. And yet he did. And you know, Jonah knew what God was asking of him. He just chose not to do it. He didn't want to go to Nineveh. He didn't like the people of Nineveh. He wanted God to get rid of Nineveh. And you know, so many of us, we love the Lord with all of our heart. We know what God is saying to us, and yet we choose to not obey him. And so therefore, we don't have an ignorance problem. We're not ignorant to what the word of God says. We have a resistance problem. We don't want to do what the word of God says. And I just think maybe tonight you can just, or today you can just open up in some conversation, just be really honest with each other. Because you'll often find that what you're struggling with is what the next person is struggling with, or they may have come through what you're about to go into. Do you remember the story of Jonah when he got thrown overboard and he sank down into the depth of the ocean, got swallowed by the fish? And how we talked about there's only one direction your life is going in when you're running away from God, and that is down. How Jonah was asleep at the bottom of the boat and the captain came to shake him awake. I mean, I don't know about you, but I've had people shake me awake, spiritually speaking. Emma, wake up, wake up. What you're doing is wrong. The way you're speaking is wrong. The way you're thinking is wrong. You need to wake up. You're heading for a disaster. This is destructive to your life. Don't derail your destiny. You need to wake up. And from time to time, you have got to be a big enough person to allow people to speak into your life and say, hey, wake up. Because there's things about yourself you can't see by yourself. And it takes a life group leader or a friend who spiritually cares about you enough to say the decisions that you're making, they're going to be destructive to your future. So Jonah ends up getting put overboard and he's swallowed by the fish, and Jonah thinks he's dying. He thinks it's the end. He's trapped in this situation. But inside this fish, which was like being put in awake in a coffin, he lies there and he reflects on his life. Because do you remember how we spoke about your story is still being written? And like every story that is ever written, there are expected parts and there are unexpected parts. And when a storm hits your life, it's an unexpected season. But actually, you will reflect back on your life one day and you'll see the most epic parts of your life were when God rescued you from your storm. Because where would you be had he not have rescued you? And this is the entirety of Jonah's story. He didn't want to experience the storm. He didn't want to go overboard. At every given step, Jonah thought it was the end. But actually, what he thought was a big problem was actually God's provision for him. And sometimes when you're going through some stuff, you need to just stop and say, God, are you speaking to me? Is there something in my life that's out of alignment with you? And when Jonah was in the belly of the whale and he offered a sacrifice praise to God, and then he prayed a prayer of surrender, not my will, but your will, the fish couldn't contain him anymore. And it said that the fish spewed him out onto dry land. And I just want to suggest to you, when you begin to surrender your life to God, stop telling God what He needs to do in your situation and allow God to be God and trust Him. That's what surrender is. It's not my will, it's your will. And when you surrender to God, your circumstances cannot contain you, because the atmosphere over your life begins to change. I just think you've got so much to talk through, so much to discuss, and so much to anchor yourself into the Word of God. So I just encourage you, have a great evening and have a fantastic summer.